Hey there, X-Men fans, this is Wesatron. Today we're going to be taking a look at Hasbro's Marvel Universe Uncanny X-Men box set. This set is just now hitting retail shelves. I believe it's been on BBTS for a while, but I think you had to order the whole set, and I wasn't really interested. So I picked this up at my local Target for $25.99. The set includes, as you can see on the bottom here, Rogue, Longshot, X-Baby, Cyclops, and Wolverine. And as you can see, it's just a plain window box. It's got some very nice art over here to the side. The insert in the back is kind of like, I guess, a Starfield type of deal. So that's pretty cool. Down here in the bottom, you've got a shot of the Fantastic Four for some reason. So that's interesting. Classic Uncanny X-Men logo there on the side. This side, it's got the art again. You can see Cyclops a little more clearly there. And on the back, it's just got a little bit of info about, looks like primarily Longshot there. So if you want to check that out, feel free. And down here we've got the cross cells for the Inhumans box set, but not the other box set, which is West Coast Avengers, I believe. So interestingly enough, here's a Sasquatch on the back, but they have not made a Sasquatch figure as far as I can remember in this set. This is also kind of interesting. The Wolverine here, that's a different head sculpt. This uses the same head sculpt as the other brown and tan Wolverines, and that one is definitely not it. It looks like they may have scrapped it at the last second. So pretty standard as far as MU goes, so let's get these guys out of package and see what they're like. And here are the Uncanny X-Men out of packaging in generic X-Men cover poses. So this is a pretty neat set. There are good things and bad things going on for it, so we will just go ahead and start with my least favorite figure of the set. And the issue with this figure is not so much that it's a bad figure, it's that I've got this figure, it's that you've got this figure, it's that your grandma's got this figure. Everybody has this figure, and the odds that you would actually be looking for a Rogue and Longshot set and not have a frickin' Wolverine is pretty low. So for the few who missed this, here's brown and tan Wolverine, or maroon and yellow, depending on what you want to say. This is that Wolverine from X-Men Origins Wolverine line a long time ago. The colors are very nice on this. They did add some nice fur details to the arm, so he's got hairy arms now. Let me get a little bit more light on that. There we go. So you can see they did a little bit more detail work, but essentially it's just the same figure. There's nothing that they've done any different. The claws are the same, feet are the same, hip articulation still sucks. But he can get in crouching poses, so that's pretty cool. As far as articulation, you got a ball-jointed head that's severely limited. Not a whole lot of action there. Nice ball-jointed midsection. Pretty good forward and back. Not quite as much side to side, but it does have rotation. Swivel hinge in the shoulders, up to about there, all the way around. Swivel hinges in the elbows, 90 degrees. Swivels in the wrists. The swivel hinge, swivel hips go up at a, I don't know, 60-degree angle, something like that. Not 45-degree angle, so you can't go straight forward with them. You have to, like, pin it out to the side, then twist, and then spin the leg. So it's just a lot of work, and I don't like dealing with it. But it is fairly loose, so if you spin it quick enough, you might be able to move it, straight forward while it spins. So double hinges in the knees, very nice range there. And then we've got swivel hinge ankles, where the hinge goes back and forth, and the swivel rotates the entire foot, as opposed to turning left and right. So no rocker action. So a cool figure. It's just that I have it, like I said. So you're done. Next up, X-Baby's Cyclops. Pretty cool little figure, unfortunately completely unarticulated. I would have really liked a ball-jointed head, but what would have been even more useful than that was a ball-jointed midsection, like a belly, where his body meets the belt. Would have been great, because he does tend to flop over a lot, because his feet are small and his head is huge, so you can't really do anything about his balance other than boil and pop. So he doesn't have any peg holes on his feet. I don't know. It's a neat little figure, but he doesn't really do much. So on to the stars of the set. We've got our first guy here, Longshot. And if you're not familiar with the Marvel Universe buck system, Longshot is primarily based off of the Ghost Rider mold. He's at least got new hands and some new additional parts. Of course, a new head. But a lot of him is based off of Ghost Rider. So if you've seen that figure, you know what to expect. Let me get a little more light on this guy, too. There we go. So, pretty nice face sculpt there. Get a little closer. A lot of nice detail. He's got a very, very wide set jaw, which is kind of strange because he never seemed like a real like Fabio type of character, but you know, whatevs. He's got a nice little sideburns there to go along with his mullet, which was very popular back in the day. Very nice pouches here, capsules, nice bit of like leather design here on the strap. His pouch, his like messenger bag is a separate piece. Both of these, I guess you could probably take off if you heated them up. Messenger bag would be really easy to take off, but this part might be a little bit more difficult. But yeah, very nice. He's got his little starburst there on his chest. Nice details in the clothing. Good wrinkles and everything. His hands look very, very nice. They did a great job with those. Get a little light on those. Of course, his signature three-fingered hand. Very cool. So this is a fist, and this one is an open hand. Unfortunately, he doesn't come with any of the knives. It seems like they always either make the knives too big or mold them into his hand. In this case, they just didn't include them at all, so bit of a bummer. But yeah, very nice look overall. They did add a little bit extra gloss on the boots, it looks like, to kind of help them stand out a little bit, but mostly the figure is just black, so there's not a whole lot of like paint detail or anything that they can do. As far as articulation, he does have the same articulation as Ghost Rider. So he's got the ball-jointed head, which doesn't work great. You get a little motion out of it, but there is a hinge in there as well, so he can look very far down, which is very nice. And decently far up, his hair is going to block it, and because this neck is a separate piece, you can see there's a line there. If you start moving that too much, you'll see that that line starts to separate a little bit. So you got to be careful with that. Don't just, shove his head back really fast because you'll break it right off the peg. Swivel hinge shoulders all the way around, and of course out to the sides. So about like that. Got swivels in the biceps, hinges in the elbows, 90 degrees, very nice. Swivel in the wrist, ball jointed midsection, so nice forward and back motion there. A little bit of side to side, and of course rotation. And then we have a swivel waist, so very cool there. Ball jointed hips, ball and socket, so very nice range, forward, back pretty good, out to the side is very nice. Swivels in the upper thigh, double hinge knees, very nice range of motion there. And again, like Wolverine, we've got these swivel hinge ankles that do not have rockers. So they go forward, or downwards about that far, upwards about that far, and then swivel all the way around. So pretty nice figure overall, a nice use of parts. And it's cool just to have a Longshot in the display because, frankly, it would be a long shot to get this character, which is a really bad pun, but also true. So here's probably the star of the set for most people. This is the figure that they're going to be wanting to get. This is Rogue in her Jim Lee costume. And I gotta say, the figure's pretty cool. I of course have issues, because I always have issues, but as far as just looking the part, she is fantastic. Hopefully I can get enough light. Oops, excuse me. A little bit more light here. I feel like I'm not really getting a lot on there. There we go. Let's see, a very nice look to the face there. It is glossy, it's not painted or anything, but they actually did a pretty good job on the paint work. Her eyes are pretty nicely done, and the makeup and everything looks very nice. The bandana here is kind of softer, so it's not going to, snap off very easily. The hair is very well done. She's got that bouffant style hairdo, really big hair on top, very late 80s, early 90s type thing. But it looks good. They sculpted it amazingly. I mean, it looks fantastic. Look at that. Great jacket here. I really dig it. It's a separate piece, of course, and these are new upper arms. As far as I know, I don't recall another figure using them. They might have, but I don't recall it. So yeah, very, very nice. Floating belt. to accessorize everything. New leg pieces here, which I think, yeah, these are actually just, that's a pretty clever idea. They, instead of sculpting a new thigh piece here, they just sculpted an overlay here. So that's glued in place, but it's the top of the boot cuff. It's just an add-on piece that's been slid over. You can see the lip of it there. So they slid it over and glued it in place. So that's pretty cool. They did the same thing down here with her, the tops of her boots there. Right at where the shin swivels, or lower leg, whatever you want to call it. So, very nice job on Rogue. I mean, she definitely looks the part of 90s Rogue. Like, absolutely perfect. Love it. Where I think personally it falters is the articulation design. I'm not a fan of the new Marvel Universe female body. I think it's got great things going for it, particularly in the lower leg area and the elbows. The huge problem with the hips. The hips are terrible in these figures. I don't know how they got through design, but we'll get to that. First off, we've got a ball-jointed head, so slightly better tilt action than the men there, so that's very cool. Left and right, and then a hinge in there, so she can look very, very far down. And her hair is going to block her from looking very far up, so that's unfortunate, but that is also, you know, part and parcel with the character. You don't expect it to do any better than that on a figure with lots of hair. Swivel hinges in the shoulders. Go out to about there, and of course all the way around. The hair's not going to block that. Swivel hinges in the elbows. They do get about 90 degrees, maybe a little less. And then rotation, so swivels in the wrists. Got a ball joint in midsection, which really works as a pretty decent ab crunch, like not too far forward, but very, very far back. And then rotation, but not really anything in the side-to-side arena that I can feel. The problem now is the hips. The hips are not designed to move. They go out that far. Like they go from there to there. And you see it's bouncing back. It's because these hips aren't designed with a slot in the top so that the leg can extend itself. It's kind of like the DCD Batman from Arkham Asylum. Like they've got the ball-jointed hips in theory, but they don't operate because there's no slot, no notch for the peg that's sticking out here attached to the ball to slide into so that she can retain full range of motion. The problem with that is also that it's so tight, it's very difficult to even get her legs to move forward and back. Like, you start to move it and you just feel resistance, and you can feel that peg turning, and I'm worried that this is going to break. Especially on the right leg. The right leg is very tough, so I'm trying not to move those very much. So very unfortunate on the hip action, not great there, which is really bad because the rest of the articulation in the leg is great. It's like fantastic. We've got swivels in the thighs. We've got the double hinge knees, very nice range on those. We've got another swivel here at the top of the boot, which goes all the way around and works great with the swivel hinge ankle because it's the new rocker swivel hinge. So you get a great toe point, you get great forward motion, and you get that great side-to-side action. And because you can twist here, if it was a regular figure, when it's out to the side, you can twist it like that and then turn the foot so that it stays flat-footed. Unfortunately, because her hips are designed with very little range of motion, you can't do that. So I may end up popping her hips off and cutting some slots in there so that she's got a little more motion. I need to do it on Batman anyway, so I might as well. But yeah, very nice figure overall. Just the hip articulation just kind of kills it for me because I hate it when people put articulation in figures and then they're not designed to use it. It's just infuriating to me. One of my big pet peeves. So it is probably going to make her a little difficult to stand too. She's also got that big hair, so that's going to weight her down a little bit in the back. We get Longshot here and Wolvie. So this set was $26. My beef is really with the Wolverine figure because we all do have it. Everybody who's an MU fan has a Wolverine. If you don't have this version, you've got the other brown costume Wolverine that's been released in its infinite molds. So, you know, whatevs. For $26, you get two really solid figures, one that can't move and one that you've already got. So that makes these two right here kind of expensive. But, you know, it is a nice update to the Wolverine. It looks good, but like I said, I've got him. So as far as value, I really wish I could have gotten this set for the old price, closer to $20 or $21, but that's just not the way it is anymore. For $26, you're still getting them for, what, around $8.50 or something like that a piece. So that's really not that bad. Like $8.66 maybe. Is that math? Somebody do math. Yeah, so it's not that bad. It's better than the $10 price point. There are no accessories except for what comes on them. What I think is really a problem is that I think they have a huge missed opportunity to have gotten rid of this guy and given you another more obscure character, because this is a box set. So if you want these guys, odds are you'd want a Dazzler. And you know what? You've got all the parts for Dazzler right here. You've got the jacket. You've got the new female body. You've even got a little headband piece if you wanted to include that off the back of her head. I mean, it would have been perfect mold to do another female figure, but they're very scared about doing females, I guess, on the toy aisle, period. But it's not like kids even know who Rogue and Longshot are anyway. So I would have loved to have seen a Dazzler in this set. If not Dazzler, a 90s Jubilee would have fit perfectly with Longshot and Rogue in the 90s costume and, you know, from Mojo World. It would have fit very nicely, but they decided to go with a rehash Wolverine. So yeah, lame. But overall, pretty decent set, especially if you don't have this. If you don't have this Wolverine, definitely get it, because, you know, the value goes way up for you. It's just, for me, the value's not quite as strong because I do have several versions of this Wolverine. So yeah, $26 is not a bad price. If you find it for that, grab it. If you find it for $30, you'll have to start wondering how much you like that Wolverine, because that is kind of expensive, and Longshot's not really that cool. But the Rogue is pretty sweet. So that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions or comments about this video review, I'd be glad to answer them. Just throw them in the box below. Thanks to all the new subscribers. Congratulations once again to SMDan20 and Kung Fu Live for winning the subscriber contest. You guys rock. That's it. Thanks, guys, for stopping by, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.